Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I'm your host, Frank Rampin, and the MLB season has finally arrived. Opening day was last Wednesday. We're about 5, 6, almost a week into the season, and man, it has been awesome. Seeing baseball games all day, every day is so much fun to see. Got my Kelly green on. I know it says Oakland. They don't play there anymore, but they should. Besides the point. But my team, my A's, tough start to the season. 50 strikeouts in the first 3 games against the Toronto Blue Jays. That's an MLB record. 57 strikeouts in their first 4. Not a great start, but a lot of action going on across the league. So let's break some things down with you with the man himself, Bobby Valentine. Let's dive into it. So what do you think about it, Bobby? ABS system, first time in place in Major League Baseball. How do you think it's been going so far through 5 days?
Well, I guess it's going the way it was meant to go. It's a little entertainment value, more data to collect. I don't particularly get it. I think that, Frankie, as you know, you're a hitter. You don't see the ball that last 6 feet. The catcher doesn't see it. The umpire doesn't see it. You perceive it. You think you know where it's going because of where it had been. But your eye can't really snap it and develop that photograph. The only thing that really captures where the ball is when it's over the plate is the machine. So why wouldn't we let the machine do it all the time? I don't get it. I don't understand why, if you lose 2 challenges and the umpire is upset that you challenged him to begin with, that he has the right then to screw you the rest of the game because he's human. Why are we letting humans decide the outcome of the game who aren't playing the game? Let those humans who are playing it figure out the outcome. Sorry, JB wants to go for a walk, but that's a story for another day.
JB always excited over there. But we saw a situation like that happen in Cincinnati with the Red Sox and the Reds. CB Buckner, I think he got overturned 6 times in one game, and you could tell he was not very happy about it, So I think that maybe as of right now, you said, why don't we do it all at all times? I think probably is what you first said, entertainment value. This has been big entertainment value. It's kind of like the tennis shots. Like they talked about this when you see the line and the crowd's like, oh, oh, oh. So
right.
It seems
everyone in tennis, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the key. That's the key. It looks like
this idea, Frankie, and it's just an idea, that framing is an art. It's the art of cheating. That's all it is. It's allowing a player who knows that it's a ball to try to trick the umpire, or now even trick the hitter, into thinking it's a strike somehow by cheating. I don't get that whole thing. And I managed 4,000 games, and I know there are umpires, because of their humanality, who determined many of those games for and against me. I don't know how it played out, the good or the bad. But why that now we have the technology? I just don't understand. I do understand the unions and the players get paid more if they can cheat better, and the umpires want to make sure they keep their stature and all that stuff. But as far as the game and playing the game, a strike should be a strike and a ball should be a ball, in my opinion. And end of conversation, now that we have the technology that can do it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that stance, Bobby. I mean, for sure. I mean, if we have the technology, we know what every pitch is, might as well call it a strike. I do think that a lot of it's going to have to do with the entertainment value from the teams, from the fans. That might keep them away from it. But I do see this at some point changing to completely automated, that every pitch, if it goes through there, it's a strike. If not, it's a ball. Umpire makes the strike call. Here's one thing that I did think was interesting about ABS. Big topic of conversation when it first came out was, the catching framing, the catching position is gonna lose its value. And I know your stance on framing, but it's gonna take away the catching position, the importance of it. I argue that it almost makes it more important. If you have a catcher who knows the zone very, very well and is able to successfully challenge a lot of calls, that's very valuable. If you have a catcher that doesn't know the zone, he's losing the challenges, especially now when you only have 2, that's important. So if you have a guy who knows it, that's huge, like Salvador Perez.
No, of course. It's valuable to know it's a strike. But guess what, Frank? The catcher has a lot to do back there. He could get paid for blocking the balls. He could get paid for catching the pop-ups in the wind, which are really tough. He could get paid for picking guys off and throwing them out. he doesn't have to get paid for things that aren't in the rule book. The rule book says a strike over the plate is a strike, and a ball that's not over the plate is a ball. The catcher shouldn't be able to change that rule, in my opinion. And, let's just let the fans are going to be entertained. The ones who will be most entertained are the ones who win the most. And if you win the most games, that's when you're really entertained. But the last thing I'm going to say, that the prize jewel of MLB has been that WBC. And the best team possibly in the WBC had to go home because of the human error. Okay? Ball four was called strike three, game ended, and the human element prevailed. It's not what should happen. In my opinion, the kid could have been a hero. Instead, he's a bum. Are you kidding? You think that's right?
And I think there's a very good chance that in the future we see that changes. I really do think so. So let's talk about some opening day baseball here, Bobby. So obviously you managed 4,000 games in your career. You've been a part of a lot of opening days. What is one memory of opening day that stands out to you?
Well, we opened in Japan. That was a cool thing for the first major league opener to open outside the North America. I think was really cool. I remember there was one crazy opening day that I played left field in Chicago when it was snowing and there were streakers every inning, and I was playing left field, so the streakers were kind of running by me. That wasn't bad. Half of it was bad. But that's kind of a great memory. But it's just a game, and I like the idea of the fanfare and who's hot in the first 6 games, and oh boy, they're going to do great. That's not the case. The guy who's hot early usually doesn't stay hot all year. The team that's hot early usually loses a lot more than they win. So we'll see how the season goes on. But I'm excited about opening day and opening week. I hope you are too, Frankie.
Oh, of course. Well, you're telling me you're not going to overact to opening weekend stats? Are you serious? No way. But so you talk about that opening day in Japan. We actually have the lineup card from that game, the first game ever played in Asia. And of course, Bobby Valentine was a manager, Mets versus Cubs. Your Mets actually took the loss in that one, Bobby, sadly. But you played 2 games in Japan, and one of your players, we have that lineup card as well. This is from game 2. And in this game, great move by you, pinch hit homer, grand slam in the top of the 11th by Benny Agbayani. So one of your guys comes up and steps up huge in a big spot, and obviously Benny came with you to Japan a few years later to play for the Marines. But we have a few of these lineup cards, and just so you know, we're going to be selling these things in a little bit. So if you wanted some first game in Asia, the first Japanese series with the Mets, sell those. And then we got another one. This is also from 2000, first series at home at Shea. So pretty legendary season for you and the Mets, Bobby. This is where it all started in Japan and then at Shea.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, when you say we, Frankie, Bobby Valentine Sports Academy is storing a lot of my memorabilia. I have over 1,000 of those lineup cards during my career that are the official ones that were in the dugout. Along with them, we also have those little lineup exchange cards that are at home plate. So we're trying to figure out how to do that, how to auction them off so that storage is the beneficiary of some great memories.
And if you're interested, keep an eye out. We're going to sell them at some point. So let's keep talking some baseball, Bobby. What was one of the things that stood out to you? One of the things that stood out for me, for sure, I know you don't want to overreact too much to just the first series, but Munetaka Murakami, Japanese superstar slugger, comes over from Japan to the White Sox and hits a homer in every single one of his first 3 games of his career against the Brewers. Great start for him. What'd you think about the slugger from Japan?
He has power, there's no doubt. And you're going to hear, oh, wait until the pitchers catch up with him. When the pitchers make mistakes, as they did in those first 3 games, he can hit it out of the park, and he will. He has a great power factor. Whether or not he can handle the rigors of a major league season, the food of America, the teammates that are new, the information that's new. There is a lot that guys have to digest and acclimate themselves to, but, they think that he can do it. And he's in a pretty low pressure situation playing for the White Sox.
Yeah, so great start for him so far. Let's talk about your Mets a little bit, Bobby. 3-1 start for the Mets. They won their opening series at home, opened up at Citi Field for the first time in a few years. Then they go to St. Louis. They're playing there now, won their first game last night. Pitching's looked pretty good for the Mets. What do you think about this new look team? They had 5 new players starting on opening day for the Mets.
Yeah, I'd like to see how that group comes together. You know, right now, people, you'll hear the interviews. Oh, everyone loves each other in the clubhouse. We're really having fun. It's really enjoyable. No one loves their teammates in April. They like them. And as the season goes on, they either turn that like into love or they turn that like into dislike. And the teams that come together are usually ones that turn the like into love, huh? And we'll see how that all goes on. It's a pressure cooker in New York. I hope that expectations don't get too high because I don't think the talent level of that team can exceed expectation or even meet expectation if it's real high, but it's a pretty good team.
It is a pretty good team, and we'll see how it goes for the Mets. Obviously, a disappointing season last year. We'll go across town, talk about the Yankees a little bit. The Yankees have looked very good through 4 games. They dominated in San Francisco, both offensively and defensively. The pitching has been awesome. They just gave up their first run of the season out of the bullpen last night, which was a walk-off to the Mariners. But so far, so good for the Yanks, and the pitching staff there looks really good.
Yeah, with help coming, right? They have some big boys that are going to come back, and that's a security blanket. You know, when you have your good starters on the pitching mound and you're waiting for them to go, and then someone gets hurt and you replace them with a lesser kind of player, that takes a little something out of the wow of the team. When you have these guys like Cole waiting to come back, I think that's a shot in the arm. So the Yankees are going to be there. They're going to be there throughout the season. The Mets, I think, are going to be there throughout the season too. But the Yankees, other than Judge, are really left-handed, and we're going to have to see how that comes into play with a new manager in San Francisco. Having a left-hander get 2 outs against left-handers and a left-hander coming up behind Judge and pitching to Judge, that's a learning experience right there, I'm sure.
Yeah, and let's talk about the team that you're most connected to as of now, the Los Angeles Angels out there in Anaheim. Decent start for them, 2-2 in Houston. What do you think about this group of young talent they have there in Anaheim? Very, very young team.
Yeah, the young talent's good. The old talent maybe is getting better with Mike Trout.
How about it?
Jorge Soler, both getting off to good starts. If Trout is healthy and motivated and performing the way he has in the first 5 games of the season, that's the good news for the Angels. To go along with Zach Neto, who everybody is going to have on their bingo card. He's going to continue to improve. Great defensive player with power. Now taking some walks is going to be good. Joe Adell's going to be really good at the power factor, and hopefully Logan O'Hoppe along with Nolan Shamuel, who has shown some new power this year in the first 5 games of the season, could make a good team. But for the Angels, everything has to go right. They have to stay healthy. The guys who have to have good years must. And if that all happens, they'll be in it at the end and maybe even getting a postseason berth for the first time in a long time.
I think the AL West is gettable this year. I think the Angels definitely have a chance to be up there fighting for a wild card spot at the end of the year. I think the AL West is as low as it's been in the past 5 to 6 years.
And we all know that you're in Oakland. Las Vegas.
I'm still wearing Oakland.
Of course, you got Oak. I saw the green. We know who you root for, Frankie, and they are explosive. I mean, the first 5 guys in their lineup are very good hitters, not only pounders. They're guys who you have to make a pitch to get them out. And they had a slow start. That won't last. They'll win a lot of games with their offense, and their pitching is to be decided.
Oh, yeah, very much so to be decided. And I don't know if you heard this stat, Bobby. The A's have struck out 57 times in 4 games.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
Most in the history of baseball through the first 4 games.
So far.
Yeah, so not a great start, but a lot of time to go. And, Bobby, one more question for you on the way out, just a quick one. What would be something, differences or similarities, but I guess I'm thinking more differences between an opening day in the States in MLB and over in the Nippon League in Japan?
Oh, I don't know that there's much difference. There's pomp and circumstance. There's marching on the field. There's, wonderful hope in the air. So I don't know that there's much difference in the two. It's an exciting time of the year because it's springtime. I guess the difference in Japan is it's when the cherry blossoms are blooming, and that's when everyone is renewed in their life. And to renew a baseball season is an exciting time of the year.
Yeah, pretty scene over there in Japan when the cherry blossoms are blooming in the spring. Can't get much better than that. So, Bobby, thank you very much for joining us today. And that's going to be it for us today here on the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Peace out.